What's up, guys? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today, I wanted to talk about a really important and interesting thing that's happening with Xenoblade Chronicles 3 right now that's going to be key leading up into the launch of the game. And I also wanted to discuss a couple of other factors that are playing into what's happening and go over some new RPG information for you guys, in addition to some industry things as well. So first and foremost, I want to say thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Hopefully all of you guys are doing good out there. I know it's starting to get really hot outside. I know where I live, Central California, it's starting to get extremely hot. So make sure you take care of yourself, hydrate, eat healthy, all that good stuff, so we can all have a great summer, because you're going to need that energy and that hype, because there's so many good RPGs coming out. You're going to have to get the strength to go to work, take care of kids, do whatever you need to do, whatever the case is, however your life is, and then also play all of these great RPGs that are coming out. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, click the notification bell, because we're going to have a lot more follow-up content on all of the games that you guys are excited to play on the Nintendo Switch and more. So let's go ahead and jump right into this interesting thing. I won't keep you guys waiting any longer on it. And I've been looking at the COMG charts. This is the Japanese retail pre-order charts. My man Pierre actually put up a chart for us to show that Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is pretty much has almost all of the pre-orders, 2/3 of what Xenoblade Chronicles 2 had a number of years ago. So right now, with 50 plus days before the launch of it, we still have about a month and some odd weeks before it comes out. The fact that it's already at 2/3 is a very good sign, because Nintendo has not done their big push for the game yet. We've just been getting little bits and pieces, little things here and there. We still have to know the release date of the special edition, or at least more details on that, when we can pre-order and all of that, and finalizing it for every single region. We still need to know more about the actual game itself, like the next, I would say, like Xenoblade Chronicles Direct, which they did have a whole section on that for Xenoblade Chronicles 2, or the All About Xenoblade Chronicles, which was a huge overview trailer for Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. They do this with every single Xenoblade, even the expansion with Torna, they did it. So I do expect there to be some type of big roundup or overview video with that. And then once we get those, that's when pre-orders, more hype, more everything just kind of goes into it. So the COMG charts are looking pretty good. There's only 2 other games that are above Xenoblade Chronicles 3 right now, and that is the Immortal, which is going to be immortal, at least Splatoon 3, and also Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. So that's good company to be in, but make no mistake, Splatoon 3 is by far the biggest game that's coming out on the Nintendo Switch in Japan, probably for this year, outside of Pokemon. Pokemon's going to be the next one, but Splatoon 3 is there. But it's good to see that Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is getting up there. It's number 3 on that list, which should lead to a pretty good opening, day 1 or week 1 sales in Japan when we get the Famitsu numbers. So that is very interesting, and that is good for Xenoblade Chronicles. Because if you haven't seen my other videos, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, there's a lot riding on this game. It's very imperative that this game does well, because I'm pretty sure this is the most that Nintendo has ever spent on the development of a Xenoblade game. I'm not sure 100% between Xenoblade Chronicles X and this game, just because Xenoblade Chronicles X has online multiplayer, so I don't know what went into everything with that and developing that and making it work, which I think the servers are still up. You can play that if you want to. I was playing it last night on the Wii U. I do want to talk about this because it is very important for Monolith Soft to continue to get that type of confidence and the funding and what they need to do to create the games that they want to make, and the big type of titles like the future Xenoblades or the new IPs or whatever the case is. Now, they're always going to be with Nintendo, because their technical expertise with creating large-scale games and RPGs is really important to Nintendo, just plain and simple. Nintendo doesn't make purchases much, but when they do, it's something that's extremely important, and Monolith Soft is a very key factor to games like Splatoon, to games like Animal Crossing, to games like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Breath of the Wild 2. So it makes sense that Nintendo, no matter what, is going to keep them around. However, what about their own projects? What about their own games? That type of funding and that type of confidence needs to come from the sales And if Xenoblade Chronicles 3 can break through that 3 million units and get into the Fire Emblem Plus territory, which I do think that it has a very good opportunity of doing so, I think that this could be the breakthrough that Monolith Soft definitely needs after the breakthrough that they already had with Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and to a degree, the original Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii. So it's very exciting to see what's happening here. Now, we do also have some other information on Xenoblade Chronicles 3, some brand new footage that you guys are going to see right now at this point. My man Lance is out there lifting. You know, I like to lift too, so I already like this guy right here. So he's out there, he's a bodybuilder, he's lifting big old huge stones. So you already know what this guy is going to be about. Yeah, taking those hits, defending, making sure to protect people, which we already saw in the original trailer and everything. So I'm already liking this guy. I like the fact that this is kind of like a motley crew of different types of people across all of the world of Xenoblade. So I do like what they're doing here and the direction that they're going with. The voice acting is sounding really good as well. The plot, the premise, everything is just shaping up to be the best Xenoblade Chronicles game of all time, at least with all of the features and what they're adding so far from what we've seen with the gameplay and the combat and the cinematics and the story. It's just looking to be absolutely incredible, so I do love that. Also, recently they went over a big combat guide. It was all in Japanese, hasn't been localized yet, but they started talking about the attack canceling, giving little snippets here and there, which I've been covering on the channel. But it's just cool to see how much time and effort that they're putting into actually showing off this game, the marketing, the depth, everything that's going on. It's just absolutely incredible. So I'm really happy to hear about that. Now, some other things that's affecting what's really important with Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is what's going on with the industry and the Nintendo Switch itself. Obviously, the more Nintendo Switch sales, the better games can do, because there's more people that have the system. I mean, obviously install base is very important. But recently, NIS America actually put out some information, or actually NIS Japan put out some information about how they had record profits of sales. And part of that was due to the overseas sales of their games. And for those who don't know, I'm gonna let you guys know about this. NIS is big on the Nintendo Switch, like huge, and they make a lot of RPGs. That's kind of like their thing, that double A style of RPG. It's not going to sell, 15 million copies or anything like that, but they're solid games that NIS really brings over for Falcom and brings over for other companies that maybe won't be able to get their games localized. NIS does it in addition to their own games as well, and they've had a record high number of profits, and I think that that is directly the result of the dominance of the Nintendo Switch. I think that if Nintendo Switch wasn't as dominant as it was with the sales that it has in Japan and also here in the US, NIS wouldn't be making anywhere near as much money as they are making, because it does seem like Sony and Microsoft definitely don't bring in what they used to bring in, or at least especially Sony does not bring in what they used to bring in with some of the smaller RPGs out there. Plus, there's that chip shortage of PlayStation 5. A lot of Japanese developers are hesitant to really kind of take advantage of everything the PS5 is doing right now at this point because of the low sales in Japan. And of course, Xbox is almost non-existent when it comes to a lot of these smaller type of games, and the game sales even when they do get something like that, because people just feel that it automatically should be on Game Pass or something, So I do feel that NIS has done an incredible job with supporting the Nintendo Switch, and it's actually paid off for them because they do have their record high profits and sales, and this is definitely good to see. So we can see more localizations. Maybe we can see localizations faster. These are things that's all going to help in the overall stratosphere of RPG games, and what I cover quite a bit, which is RPGs and what I like as well. So when you see NIS doing well, that's good for Nintendo. That's good for Monolith Soft, because their RPGs are going to do well because, it's Nintendo, and obviously they're bigger RPGs than what NIS is doing. So it just gets more people in, more people playing, more people trying the games, and more people interested in the genre that I love so much, whether it's an action RPG, turn-based, strategy, whatever the case is. I'm all over all of it. So it's just good to see overall for that, And obviously we're heading into a time period where there's going to be a lot of games coming out, and honestly there isn't enough time. There's going to be a lot of RPGs coming out. There's going to be a lot of games coming out. Mario Strikers Battle League is coming out this week as of the time that I'm recording this video. I mean, there's just so much stuff that's happening. So I do feel that this is a good momentum piece. This is a good momentum piece for Xenoblade. I think that Xenoblade is going to ride that wave to probably record-breaking sales for the Xenoblade franchise. But another thing that's also very important as well is exactly how this game does. Now, I've broke down the sales and what I think it's going to do, but I want to go ahead and just talk about it just a little bit more here for those who missed that last video. I do think that Xenoblade Chronicles 3 has a really good opportunity to sell 3.5 to 4 million units, and that's at the minimum, just because Xenoblade Chronicles 2 did 2 million units in its number of years that it's been out, and that was with the install base growing as we were going along with the Switch, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, and of course that franchise not being as popular but still growing in popularity. Now at this point, we have 100+ million Switches out there. We have all-time record-breaking sales numbers for multiple different franchises. We also have Pirate and Mithra in Super Smash Bros. So more and more people have been playing Xenoblade Chronicles. I've seen a ridiculous amount of people saying that they bought Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition and Xenoblade Chronicles 2, scrambling for all of the copies that are out there. All of a sudden, reprints coming out of nowhere. I mean, it's been kind of crazy to see what's going on here with Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2. I've seen so many different videos pop up in my feed, the Xenoblade girl crying about something with Xenoblade. She just played it or they just played it. So it's just good to see all that. I love to see more people getting into the franchise. I love to see more people making content on it. And I really think that's going to snowball into Xenoblade Chronicles 3 having a record-breaking launch and record-breaking sales. So I'm very excited to see how that all works out because it's all very important and interesting nonetheless. But what are your thoughts when it comes to everything that we discussed here with Xenoblade and a bit more? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and we will see you for the next video. Peace.